Welcome back to 19er Kilo Outdoors, and today we are addressing two of the biggest issues that plague every person building an overlanding rig, and that is, first, space. Where do we put everything that we want to put on our rig? And then two, how do we power all the toys that we want to bring with us, whether it be our refrigerators, camera batteries, drone batteries, laptops, all the things. You want a panini press, bring it along, but how do we power it? Where do we put it? So we're going to address that on my 21 Tacoma using this hood mount solar panel made by Lensun. We're going to go through the install, we're going to check it out, and then I'll give a review later on after using it for a while. But the cool thing is like I said, this is a hood mount one, so this is going to fit on that dead space on the hood that we otherwise weren't using. So I don't have to worry about mounting panels to the roof or anything else like that and taking up valuable real estate for all the other toys and goodies. So let's get started. All right, so right here we got everything laid out, ready for the installation. Got the solar panel, the MPPT controller, the double-sided sticky tape, and we got the vinyl unrolled, sitting out in the sun, ready for install. All right, so now that we got that vinyl laid out, it's been sitting out in the sun, so it's no longer all rolly. Now we got to prep the hood. I've already gone ahead and washed it with soap and water off camera because everybody knows how to wash their rig, but I'm gonna go over what is actually the next important step, and that is wiping everything down, cleaning it thoroughly with an alcohol water solution. So let's go ahead and get started and get ready to get this vinyl down. All right, so this next part is probably one of the most daunting parts of the whole process that makes most people nervous, and that is simply applying the large sheet of vinyl. Because you don't get it right, you mess it up. Fortunately, Lensun says to use a healthy dose of soap and water, which helps make it super pliable, super maneuverable, and is super forgiving as you do it. So don't be afraid. Use plenty of soap and water. It'll go on smooth. Let's go. Okay, so basically because the neighbor decided now was the perfect time to mow his lawn, we're going to turn this into a speed run montage, but also just kind of voice over this whole thing. So as you can see, as I'm laying it down, the soap and water really helps in getting everything lined up and adjustability. You can see I do not get this right the first time or the second time or the third time laying it down, and it looks like it's a huge mess. But with proper soap and water, everything worked out perfectly. No issue at all. So if this is what you're afraid of, don't be. Get in there, get it done. Soap and water and a squeegee, and this thing is too easy. Okay, so now that the vinyl is in place and prepped, all the water's sucked out from underneath it, everything's good to go. All we got to do now is let it sit for a little while, let it set in place, then we'll come back out and we'll set the solar panel. First thing we got to do before we can actually set the solar is we have to prep it. So we're going to prep that by cleaning it. So we'll just flip it over here and give this side here just a real nice wipe down using our alcohol water solution. Good spray, get it all nice and wet. And nothing crazy here, nothing technical. Everybody needs a tutorial on how to wipe something down. Actually, you'd be surprised how many people will skip the cleaning part anytime they do something. Like, prep work is always key, man. You want something to work well, prep work. You want something to go well, prep it. Alright, so now that this is all prepped, we'll let that dry briefly. It is alcohol and water, so for the most part it will dry fairly quickly. Now Lensun is kind enough when you buy the kit to include the double-sided sticky tape, and there is tons of it, so apply thoroughly. Do not be light on this. Don't be afraid to use what you got. Okay, now that we got the double-sided sticky tape down on the solar panel, let's go ahead and get it prepped to put on the hood. All right, so next up, we're just gonna set it. So we gotta get it figured out exactly where we want it. So we'll get this lined up right here on the vinyl. Try and get it nice and centered and straight. See what that looks like there. See if that's about where we want it there. Okay, that looks good to me. So what we're gonna do here, just to make sure nothing moves and we can pull off that double-sided sticky tape, is we are gonna use some good old blue painter's tape. Take this, and we'll run a few pieces down here on the bottom, just to hold it in place. I got thin stuff, that's all I can find, so we're gonna have to do a few strips. But the idea here is to be able to hold this piece in place while we flip it. And remove the tape. And then, when we flip it back, it'll help us guide it down. And keep it all secure. At least that's the plan. So we'll see. No, if it doesn't. Because I'll probably use my freaking line. I'll just do that. Can I do that? Tell me where that's from. All right, so now we got it centered on the vinyl. Got a good idea what it's going to look like when it's done. Now let's fold it over. Let's remove the sticky tape and get this thing going.
Oh, what a treat!
Okay, so obviously as you guys saw, my tape slipped, that didn't work. So now we're just gonna hope for the best. So it happens, life happens. But in full transparency, we're gonna continue on and show our mistakes and how to improvise and overcome. Because do we just stop when things mess up? No, we do not. We cuss, we throw things, and then we move on. I didn't throw things this time. I didn't cuss really either. But, you know, because it wasn't that serious. You know, life's too short to worry about the little things. Fill your jar with the little things. You got no room for the big things. Now the moment of truth, can I do this freehand? We're about to find out. Ba, 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 ba. Well, that's not too shabby. All right, let's make sure it's all smoothed out. I'll just cut that part out. All right, so now we got this on here. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna let this sit for a little while with weight on it. So let's get some weight, sit on it. Move that out of the way. Okay, so now that we have the solar panel in place, the sandbags are down to help weigh it down and get that double-sided sticky tape to really adhere to the hood and the vinyl surface. We'll let that sit overnight, and then tomorrow we will actually roll into getting the MPP controller installed and finalize this solar install finally. So Lensun only says that you need 4 to 5 hours for this to set. It's getting late, so I'm just gonna let it sit overnight because longer definitely doesn't hurt. See you in the morning. Okay, so now that we've let the sandbag sit on it and it's good and secure, we are now gonna wire up the MPPT controller. Say that 3 times fast. And then we're going to do one extra step. Since we are here in the Pacific Northwest, we are going to run a line of silicone caulking around the outer edge of the panel just to make sure no water or anything else like that gets up underneath there, since it does rain here quite a lot. This is not on the Lensun instructions, but it is definitely a step that myself and a lot of the other people that use these highly recommend. So we are definitely going to do it. Let's get started. All right, so now that we've got all that done, it's time to install the MPPT controller. Now, there's a lot of places you can put this. For me personally, I'm just going to use some leftover double-sided sticky tape from the panel and temporarily mount it on top of my fuse box because I am going to be adding some other stuff in here to include an actual mounting bracket that'll hold this. So right now, double-sided sticky tape, this should be plenty good for what I need until that bracket arrives. But it gets us mounted, gets us on the road, and gets us charging. So like I said, right now we're going to disconnect the battery because safety third, and let's get installing. All right, so we got that done. As you see, I got the cable for the solar just running right along here. We'll get that all tied up out of the way here shortly, but for right now, let's get everything soft mounted so that we know it works. And then I will worry about cleaning up the cable management and things like that. I'm not gonna go too over the top because like I said, I am changing some stuff up on this. And eventually we'll be going to a dual battery setup that I'll be attaching all this to. So I'm not gonna go super crazy, but it will at least look neat when we're done. Neat-ish. So, all right. So, let's go ahead and get. Finally, we got it. Yay, we got it. And folks, I know, you can say in the comments, I keep looking up at my screen, not at the camera. Go ahead and comment. In fact, just count every time you see me not look at the camera. Give me a count in the comments. All right, so like I said, we are just going to mount this sticky tape right to the top of my fuse panel here. In fact, it's going to go on the panel for my switch. All right. And because we are doing it the way we're doing it, for most part, we're going to leave these coiled up as we found them. For the most part. Not completely. All right, so now you just got to kind of pick where you want it. If you have the ability to pick where you want it, like on these V-Gate battery terminals that I got, which are pretty dope. But anyways, we are going to just go ahead and get this put on here. It's just a real simple setup, just negative to negative and positive to positive, and you're ready to go. So then we'll test it and we'll see how we're rocking. Okay, got that connected. Make sure that stays out of the way while we fiddle with the positive. As you can see with the positive cable, it has a little fuse. This is, I believe it is a 30 amp fuse, but this is what's gonna, keep everything safe on your vehicle when you do this. So let's go ahead and connect the positive ring terminal to the battery terminal, and let's get some solar charging. Got a nice little spot right here. All right, so now we're gonna get everything connected here. Get it all tightened down. like I said, cable management, better cable management will occur as I get this organized. But for right now, everything's hooked up. Now we just gotta connect the battery, or the solar, sorry, connect the battery and MPPT to the solar. So let's go ahead and get that done. Get rid of that little rubber band, do that. Fish out these guys. Pretty straightforward, standard connectors. Can't get them wrong. Okay. All right, we will get all this secured down, zip tied down in place, but for right now, let's just check it out. So here it is right here. You can see everything's connected and blinking. Everything's working. Ignore my mess. Like I said, this is all just temporary for now, but everything's connected. Solar panel is up and running as far as we can tell, but let's check. Okay, so now we got everything installed, everything's powered up. I got the app working. Now we're just going to monitor over a course of time, but right now the app is pretty cool. It is only reading right now 6.22 watts of power at 17.30 volts, but it's also overcast, so we'll check it out. We'll continue to monitor. I'll continue to update. And yeah, so now I don't have to worry about unplugging my fridge, or at least I shouldn't have to worry about unplugging my fridge from the truck and connect it to a battery or a jackery when I am out camping. I can just leave the fridge, connect it to the truck all the time. Don't have to keep turning it on and off. So super cool. All right, so now that we've got power going to it, everything's installed, ready to go. The final and last step I'm gonna do, which is not part of an actual step, but definitely highly recommend, especially if you live in a rainy climate like the Pacific Northwest, is I am going to apply a bead of silicone all the way around the panel, just making sure that nothing gets up underneath it. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out, and after that, we'll give a quick rundown of the whole thing, and I'll get back with you shortly. All right, so now that we have the bead on, we're just gonna make it look pretty, let it set, and then we're done. All right, so now that we've got everything installed, the silicone's down, MPPT controller is working, battery is charging, now we're good to go. So this is not hard, folks. If you're interested at all, I highly recommend doing it. I have in the links below, I will have the link for the 3rd Gen Tacoma panels, and a link to the website in general, so you can look at whether to fit your vehicle or rooftop tents or any other application. Lensun has a huge range of solar panels that will fit your needs. And if you want to, you don't have to, use the code that I've got posted down below as well and get yourself 10% off on your next purchase. You don't have to do it, but it does help me out for making these videos. And speaking of making these videos, if you like these and you like my overlanding videos that I do, click subscribe, hit like, leave some comments. Even if you don't like it, leave some comments, or anything that you think that I could have done better, or any tips and tricks on applying silicone or anything else like that. Leave a comment below. Everything helps. and let's get charging.